Hello and welcome back to another exciting episode. We hope you enjoy it. Oh, don't forget, if you can please subscribe and share, because we really like to see those subscription numbers go up, and we appreciate all those people who have subscribed in the past. So thank you very much. Now without further ado, on with the video. Thank you for coming along with us to the McLeod Plantation Historic Site. Hours of operation is Tuesday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and admissions is $15 for ages 13 and up, $12 for ages 60 and over, and $6 from ages 3 to 12. And of course, kiddies 2 and under are free. Today, McLeod Plantation is an important 37-acre heritage site that has been carefully preserved in recognition of the culture and historical significance. Now, the grounds include a riverside outside pavilion, a sweeping oak alley, and the McLeod Oak, which is thought to be more than 600 years old. The McLeod Plantation was built on the riches of Sea Island cotton and on the backs of enslaved people whose work and culture are embedded in the Low Country's very foundation. It is a living tribute to the men and women and their descendants that persevered in this effort and in their efforts to achieve freedom, equality, and justice.
Start you off by showing you a map, and this map goes back to what this site looked like in the 1850s when this was purchased by the McLeods. Now we're on James Island, right? James Island is one of these islands that runs along the coast of South Carolina and Georgia, and they're called the Sea Island. And on James Island in the 1850s there were over 20 plantations here, and this in 1851 will ring in as the 5th largest plantation. So that is that 1,700 acres that made up the original plantation. 1,700 acres, not a small piece of land. I need your love to make things right. So, why is this particular type of cotton, Sea Island cotton, so valuable? Well, he buys this plantation because of how much money he can make off of it at the market. And that has to do with these fibers. So if you start to pull these fibers off, now this is not Sea Island cotton, right? I don't have any of that, but once you start to break these fibers apart, you notice that they all have a specific length. And this length on that cheap cotton, that would be about a little 3/4 inch fiber, a little stubby thing. And then you get to some nicer cotton like Egyptian cotton or Pima cotton. You might recognize those when you go to look for sheets, right? You have a 1 1/4 inch, maybe 1 1/2 inch fiber, so now we're getting somewhere. And then on Sea Island cotton, this fiber would be up to 2 inches long. So it's a nice long fiber, and it's advertised in the 1850s as being the softest cotton in the world. Food. What is on Charleston's menus these days? Shrimp and grits. And shrimp and grits, and shrimp and grits, right? It is really difficult to go to be in Charleston for more than a day without seeing shrimp and grits somewhere, right? And 52 tons of corn will produce a fair amount of grits. And that shrimp speaks to all that seafood that's here, right? Oysters, crab, that she crab soup that's popular here, lots of fish. What else is down here? What has South Carolina become the wealthiest colony off of? Rice. Right? And so there's a lot of rice dishes here. And who had been growing rice for 2,000 years before they were forced to come here and grow rice? West Africans have, over time, the emergence of a new cuisine. You cannot come to Charleston for more than a day without interacting with the culture that is produced in spaces just like this one. You might not know it as it's happening, but it's there if you know what to look for.
Why, thank you, ma'am.
Now there is a tour of the homes, and of course you can compare the McLeod family home to those that were built for the enslaved families. You can also learn about daily life and the relationships among the men, women, and children who lived and worked, before and after slavery. You can also study the cultivation and the importance of the Sea Island cotton. Gaining insight into the plantation's strategic importance during the Civil War is also a topic. And of course the role of the Free Black Massachusetts 55th Volunteer Infantry in emancipating those enslaved peoples who were on the plantation. There's also an examination of the influence of the Freedmen's Bureau at McLeod Plantation and throughout the South. You can also trace the emergence of the Gala culture in the Low Country and explore worship and spirituality in the lives of the McLeod Plantation's residents. Drawing parallels between the changing relationships among the McLeod Plantation's residents and in American society during the 20th century is also something that they discuss.
Now, during the 1800s, the boll weevil wiped out the cotton crop. And of course, you couldn't plant again after the boll weevil went through. Well, that's been over 100 years ago, well over. So, interesting enough, the cotton that was here is a specialized type of cotton that was only grown on the coastal areas. The cotton threads themselves were quite long, so therefore quite profitable, easier to work with, and a lot softer. Well, a local college found in an archive some of the original seeds from the 1800s. Someone took a few of those seeds, and surprisingly it germinated. And for those of you who've ever seen cotton plants, you know that just from one plant you can get hundreds of seeds. So from those seeds, they made some plants, and right here at the McLeod Plantation, where they had this type of rare cotton plant, they are now replanting 100 plants to see how they do. Now, for those of you who again are history buffs, who are botanists, who just plain gardeners, will look at this, and at least I am fascinated. So hopefully these will flourish and prosper, and we can once again have a cotton plant just like in the 1800s. Good news for us.